Look at all that money. Look at all that money. Yeah, the money that they've spent. Take another look and take some time for hemp. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp. Well, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for hemp.
Yeah, it is time for hemp, and we're asking you that you help us to make taking time for hemp great again. I am your host, Casper Leitch, and we want to thank you for tuning in to the big broadcast today. And we want to thank all the people at Citizen Green TV to make it possible for us to reach a larger audience with our message. Also, if you get a chance, check out timeforhemp.news and share that with your friends. And speaking of sharing it with your friends, please hit the like and subscribe button below. And that's how we get our algorithms up, and we get to find people who like our content. And it makes it even more possible for us to create new content. Also, don't forget that anytime you hear the word joint on the big broadcast, we ask that you hit your pipes, your bongs, your vaporizers, and take time for hemp. And as we take time for hemp today, we're going to bring on some of my joint hosts today, starting off with my joint host, Al Byrne. Al Byrne, who also created this fantastic book, and he'll tell you about. Hey, Al, how you doing?
Good evening, Casper. Welcome, all of you that are listening. Yeah, I wrote that book. It's what it is for cannabis, country and cannabis. It's my experience with cannabis in the military. I spent 24 years there. And then afterwards, and the history of really how medical cannabis came about, who did it, and both nationally and internationally. So it's a history book. I didn't want that lost. I didn't want the people that were involved to be dismissed or forgotten. But anyway, let's leave all that behind, and let's introduce another one of our joint hosts with me, another Al Graham, up there somewhere in the woods of Ontario, Canada. You got to be in the woods.
Yes, yeah, actually, I am in the boonies, small town is off in the distance there, and it's it's nice and quiet up here. I can tell you that so much.
Well, isn't it just with some exceptions, like big places we've heard of down here in the States, like Montreal or Vancouver or something like that? Isn't everybody else on the sticks in the whole darn place?
Oh well, because the suburbs around those cities are so huge. Yeah.
Well, it can't be all that quiet up there because you do a groovy thing called Pace Radio Network, don't you?
Yes, we do make a lot of noise. Pace Radio Network as people advocating cannabis education. Not only do we cover cannabis, but we also discuss psychedelics as well. We have news broadcasts, we have discussions, we have interviews with patients, and we broadcast shows 7 days a week. And we actually have 3 content providers providing content with us.
And your content is stellar, and I want to say thank you for being so diligent and doing your work. Because of that, Canada is being enlightened about the truth about hemp. You do a great job, Al.
Thank you very much, Casper.
And I've got a hemp-tastic idea. I think it might be a good time to bring on our joint guest today, Scott McStacy. And I want to say hello, Scott. How you doing?
Good, Casper. How are you doing, sir?
Fantastic. And I'm having hemp-tastic ideas constantly, one of which is about how much fun it'd be to have you as a guest on our show and have your classroom roll into our neighborhood. You do a mobile classroom that I think is very, very enlightening.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's great to get your hands dirty and learn these things, in a practical sense, as well as just the knowledge.
So does that mean you got like a bookmobile that rolls in and you park it in a neighborhood for a couple of hours, and people come in and borrow books, or they come in and get high, or what?
No, it's actually a trailer that I pull that I have all of my hempcrete type stuff in, and tables, and I have a projector with my laptop where I can do on-site lectures and all that. But I don't just show up in people's neighborhoods. That would be a little strange where we live. But I set these things up in advance, and then we get people to come, and we have a lot of fun with it.
Well, wait a minute. Where are you?
I'm in Virginia.
Virginia. Oh, I spent 35 years there and got the hell out. What part of Virginia are you in?
I live in Forest, Virginia, which is down near Lynchburg.
Yeah,
I'm from Charlottesville originally. It's in the center of the state. Yeah.
Yeah, I lived out in Howardsville. You're probably familiar with that, being from Charlottesville. It's a little thing. Well, so you're in Virginia, and let me get what you're doing here. You've got some sort of a traveling hempcrete exhibit or workspace, and you work with who, and who are you showing all this to?
Well, it varies. Sometimes it's organizations, sometimes it's groups of engineers and construction people. A lot of times it's people that we get that just are enthusiasts and are interested in the technology. And yes, it is a workspace. It's a portable workspace that I can pull my mixer out. I can pull my wheelbarrow, and we can start making it and actually build forms and tamp it in the forms and do all that. But it's more than just hempcrete. Hempcrete is kind of my soup of the day, if you will. But the overall lectures that I give are all about cannabis in general, and it goes back to the ancient history of cannabis all the way forward into the modern commercial applications of hemp. So I really try to cover all the bases there, because I believe that people can learn about cannabis, especially those that don't know the things that we do. And I think soon as they do, they start to think about the plant in a much different way.
Well, now you say that they've been using hemp back in the ancient day. Were they using it like hempcrete, like we're starting to do now, or were they just like building grass huts out of the leaves?
No, ironically enough, 1600 years ago in India, there was a temple. It's called the Ellora Caves. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's the front of the temple, or it's an enormous cave complex. And what they did, they went inside and they formed up walls and temples and prayer rooms and corridors. Wow. And it's all out of what we use as hempcrete today, believe it or not, except it had a little bit of clay in it. Was the only difference from the wow. recipe that I use today. Wow. So this wasn't an ancient technology, believe it or not.
I believe it. And see, I want my audience to understand. This is why you come to Time for Hemp. You're going to come here and you learn stuff. All right. Yeah. I got to skip in. Everybody out there is going, Scott, what's in this stuff?
Well, it's actually very simple. So there's the industrial hemp plant is a very tall, woody plant. It doesn't have a lot of branches, and it doesn't have a lot of side mass. So it has this main stalk. Now inside that stalk is a thing or things called hurd. And hurd is just cellulose that builds up on the inner part of the stalk. Now you take that cellulose, once you remove it from the fiber, you take the cellulose and you mix it with lime, a pozzolan, which just means a hardener or a drying agent. And that's usually something like a volcanic ash or a metakaolin. And then you mix it with water. Once you put that together into the right consistency, it's kind of like oatmeal. And then you can either make a block out of it, you can cast it in place to make your wall, or you can spray it now and actually spray it onto the walls and accumulate it and then finish it that way. So it's a very simple mix. It's non-toxic, completely non-toxic once it's completely carbonized, because it goes from calcium hydroxide into calcium carbonate. which is limestone. So it's literally it has the herd that's kind of inside there sequestered, and it's a limestone thick 12-inch wall. So if you can imagine the R value on that, the insulative value is off the chart.
Let me ask 3 quick questions, if I may, Scott. I've heard, so this is rumor to me, but let me know. I've heard that this process gives you a home that is pretty much fungus-free and mold-free, and also is able to withstand enormous temperatures, like in a forest fire or something. Can you confirm or deny all of that, please?
Yes, all 3 are correct. It's antimicrobial in general, so mold and fungus don't get a foothold. And then it won't burn, as you can imagine burning, where something will burn through. It won't burn through. It'll turn black on the outside and smolder. It'll even turn red if it's hot enough with like a torch, but it won't burn through. Once that matrix is established and it's cured, it is virtually fireproof. We say fire resistant because nothing in this world is completely fireproof, if you think about it.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, but I mean, that's hell of an improvement over what we got now as far as these. I mean, all of us, I'm in Florida, we got our forest fires, but California just every year is millions of acres. It just goes on for a century. And houses just go up like matchsticks. And I'm thinking, if you're going to build a house in the middle of a potential forest fire,
this is the one.
Now, like the hempcrete is all fire, like fire resistant and all that. But can you go above just the foundation, like as far as building the framing or anything within the house in order to help reduce any chance of fire?
Oh, sure. So it's actually not the foundation that's made of hempcrete. And hempcrete is actually technically called hemp lime construction. And the reason they do that is because hempcrete can connotate concrete, and you think it's the same as concrete. It's really not. It does similar things, but it doesn't have the same compressive value and things like that. So it would be above the foundation in your walls.
Okay.
And then you can put it between your rafters, in your rafters along your roof line. And so you can create an outer shell that is virtually, well, I'll just say that is significantly fire resistant. Especially
what
if you use a steel
about
roof.
insulation properties? You got this thing up in the ceiling. Is it an insulator?
It sure is. It's actually in the code as a rigid insulation. So it works at about 3.2 R value per inch of thickness. So a 12-inch wall is close to 39 R value. Now, just to give you an example of what is code, 19 is code in our area for an external wall. So this gives you nearly double code. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. It's just like everything that we have discussed this, and everybody's intrigued. How much it cost?
Well, ironically, right now that you asked that question, it's in parity. It's similarly priced and that's mostly because prices are so high in the construction industry right now in general, and there's a lot of uncertainty there. So I would say if you can get your herd at a decent distance, and you can find your lime close and find your pozzolan and all the things you need, I think you can currently, right now, you could probably build for about the same amount of money as you would for conventional construction.
All right, so what I just heard as an old logistics expert, the problem that you're presenting to us here, even though you didn't say so, is a logistical one. To make this a parity of construction, you need to be reasonably close to the resources you identified, and then I get it. So let me go beyond that. So what do you see in your future about getting more resources in more places to reduce the time, the transportation costs, et cetera?
Right. One thing that I would love to see is a nationwide system of decortication centers, and decorticator is like the cotton gin for hemp. It separates it. It made it go from a very labor intensive crop to a very easily separated crop, and that changed everything. That was 1917. So we need those decorticators every, say, 100 to 200 miles in farm territory, so that they can handle the farmers in those micro regions. They would basically build co-ops and have farmers already ready to grow it. They'd come in with a center, and then those farmers would feed that center, and then that center would feed the raw material to people like me for hempcrete and for bioplastics and all these other things that you can make out of industrial hemp.
Well,
Okay, wait a minute. Did you guys hear what he said? Come on. What's a bioplastic?
Well, can you imagine having a plastic bottle, one of these here, and it made of a plant material that will decompose in 96 days?
I would
Can you
imagine,
the
yes.
difference?
Oh, yeah, and I would love to see that. Is that what we're talking about? All right,
That
go
is what
on with
we're
that.
talking
Come
about.
on, this is cool. Come on.
Okay, so yeah, it exists and it's out there. There is plastic cutlery that is made from hemp bioplastics. There's all kinds of stuff. They make car parts. A lot of these fancy cars are using hemp plastic parts in the cars, and then hemp fiber to make like a wood-like material. There's just so many different things in the plastic world that you can do with hemp.
Well, I hate that word, but are you saying to me that plastic can be replaced by hemp? When you're saying hemp plastic, what you're saying is hemp replaces plastic. Is that what you're really saying? Okay.
That is, and that's actually one of the big reasons I believe it was made illegal to begin with.
How's that?
Well, it was a big competitor to the petrochemical industry in the early days. And because in 1907, Leo Baekeland invented hemp-based plastic. And so Henry Ford in the 20s, he was experimenting with hemp plastics. And he built a car out of hemp plastic that actually ran on hemp biofuel in 1942. The government came to him and shut that down. But see, they had made hemp illegal in 1937. And I believe, and looking at the facts of the time, there were industry leaders that just didn't want the competition from hemp, knowing all the things that you could now do with it, and the decorticator made it much easier to do. I think they saw it as a big threat, and they just made sure it went away.
Yeah, that was like their red line, huh? When that decorticator come along.
Well, I don't think it helped, certainly.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that John Deere builds a decorticator. Is that the company that's still doing it?
Well, there are a bunch of different people making decorticators. Most of them now are made pretty much custom because they're a large multi-million-dollar machine. There are some the real leaders out there, though, coming up with some great systems like Tiger Fiber in St. Louis. Ryan Doherty's out there, and they're just doing amazing things. They have a system that breaks everything down into 5 usable parts, and so they can ship those things out to different people and for different uses.
Well, now I understand that the 2018 Farm Bill made it legal for all states to be able to have now a hemp crop and hemp farmers, as long as you have proper licensing. Are these farmers using those decorticating machines, or are they doing something different? Well,
currently there aren't enough decorticating centers. If they have access to them, they're using them. If not, then they don't have much of a market yet. Now, there are some things and some technologies that are coming along that may be able to help that, like micro decorticators and things, but we're not there yet. And so one of the things I'm doing here in Virginia is I'm working with the General Assembly to have a hemp revitalization bill to basically bring industrial hemp out into the sunlight and into its own lane, so that we can move forward and not be kind of caught up in the argument, if you will.
Well,
We kind of want to see it go.
Recently, we had a guest on the program that said one of the biggest problems with the hemp industry is that it's hard to be able to establish a proper chain, meaning in order for a farmer to find it proper to grow the hemp, they've got to be able to get it to a decorticating center. And for a decorticating center to be built, they've got to be able to have manufacturers to make those products. And for those manufacturers to make those products, they've got to have buyers. And because of the lack of buyers and lack of companies willing to use this as a way of making products, it's been difficult for decorticating centers to be established. Is that the case?
Yes, it's a bit of the chicken and the egg syndrome. We need buyers to be able to make the decorticators, but we need decorticators so there can become buyers. So we really need, as a society, I think we need to look down deep inside and say, look, we need to make a change to more bio-based materials, and that being hemp especially. But you can use other things. You can use sugarcane waste and make sugarcrete. It's very similar to hempcrete. So any of these waste products and any of these plant-based products, we should start looking into creating the manufacturing here in America where we can have local supply chains and circular economies where we're growing it here, we're making it here, and we're selling it here or building it here.
Yeah, one of the things that a friend of mine named Gatewood Galbraith has stated was that if America just used 6% of the land that the government pays farmers not to grow on, we would be able to produce enough fuel to run all of our public transportation. And he pointed out that you can make the same kind of fuel out of corn, but it takes more energy to grow an acre of corn than it takes to grow an acre of hemp. So now I know up in Canada, they've got a big hemp industry up there. Al, Graham, how do they handle it up there?
Well, just on the corn thing, I've got a corn factory right behind me that makes the corn fuel, just like within a 2 miles distance of me. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, hemp is big up here. There's lots of the growers. People get their license and stuff like that in order to be able to grow it. But I don't know the roots of getting the decorticators or anything like that. And I'm also looking at our time of the show as well, and we're getting close to that time.
Oh my gosh, it's already gone by that quick.
Yeah.
This is really an interesting conversation. Well, now, how do you see the hemp industry moving forward in America? Because it could be a multi-trillion-dollar industry that would create lots of jobs in our backyard and make our farmers very happy.
It sure would. I see it doing exactly what you just said. I think it's going to grow. It's already growing in a very rapid way, but just not in certain areas. Once people get on board and once the government start to say, okay, look, I'll give you a tax credit if you bring this decorticating center into this old building that's not being used, and you take something that's dead and create new industry out of it. I see that happening. And I think that if enough of us stay on top of it and we really push, that we can get a bio-based economy that can almost completely circulate around hemp and other bio-based materials. As far as just, business and jobs, it would just create it's going to create a very, very large stream, if you will.
Well, we want people to be able to find you and your classroom that you have. So how do you promote? Do you show up in town and hand out free marijuana joints and let everybody know they come down? Or, well, I mean, and where all do you go? Do you just stay in Virginia or do you go across America? And how do you promote?
Right. Right now, I promote through social media mostly. And I get a lot of response through that because I can target groups that are very sympathetic to what we're doing.
All right.
My Facebook page, which is under Seed to Structure LLC, that's kind of my go-to information site. I do have a website that I'm retooling, seedtostructure.com, that will be up again soon. But the easiest way is to find me on Facebook. I'm there. I do a lot of work there, and I find a lot of people that are very interested in hemp.
And so I take it that you are educating the construction industry coast to coast on this amazing product.
I am. And there's another thing that I'm doing. I'm working with a local college to start an online cannabis certification process for like a certificate to get into the industry. And that can be international, not just here or in the States. Yeah, we're working on that as well.
Well, Scott, I have really enjoyed meeting you at the Texas Hemp Stock. I'm grateful for our new friendship, and I find you to be very entertaining, charismatic, and very, very informative. And I want to thank you for being a guest on our big broadcast today.
Thank you, Casper. Thanks, Al and Al.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate you coming on. And
I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in and making it possible for us to do this broadcast. And I want to thank the people at Citizen Green TV for putting this on the air so that we can reach a larger audience. The main purpose of what we do here is try to educate about hemp. And if you go to timeforhemp.news, you'll discover lots of free videos to download, lots of free audio content to download, including free cannabis music, woohoo, that you can download. And it's all about how important it is to take time for hemp.
Look at all that money. Look at all that money. Yeah, the money that they've spent. Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for him. Well, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for hemp. Throughout Earth's history, hemp has been used, no mystery. Hemp was legal to pay your taxes for more than a century. Faxes, the founding fathers make sense to me. It's time to grow hemp legally. Think of all its uses, it's money that's well spent. Right now, no excuses, it's time for hemp. Sustainable green industry, that's our intent. A better place this world will be, it's time for hemp. Fuel and food and clothes and soap, housing, cars, yeah, cars, no joke. Henry Ford built a car of hemp, it's time for us to do it again. People being flowers for with Valentine as it's meant. Right now, it's time for him. Hemp is a true necessity for the wealth and protection of this country. Thomas Jefferson spoke those words. He knew the value of these herbs.